how does CET, conscious emotional transformation, help with conditions like anxiety? Great question. I'm glad you asked. My name is Lisa Turner from Set Freedom. So CET, conscious emotional transformation, what it does is it repairs where there's trauma or blocks or resistance in the neurology. For a full explanation of that, that's on another video. So let's look at anxiety. There are really two forms of anxiety. One is the anxiety which is often inappropriate and unwarranted, and it's often a kind of hypervigilance that's as a result of someone who's been through a very traumatic experience, or it's either a single high level of trauma or a low grade but over a long period, or it might be both. Anyway, whatever, you've had this experience where you've associated certain really non-threatening events and experiences with something that is a threat. So for example, I had a client and she had an abusive partner who was horrifically abusive to her because she made some soup and he didn't like the soup. Every time she went to make that soup, she got really, really anxious. It's not the soup. Right? So what we did with CET was we cleared that anxiety, cleared that resistance to energy, to emotion flowing through the nervous system, resistance to love, so that the anxiety was gone. So that anxiety where you are perceiving something that's a threat that's really not a threat, CET clears that really, really effectively. And even if you have phobias, CET can work for that as well, because phobia is it's another form of inappropriate, unwarranted fear. Slightly different technique, but we still use CET for it. Now, then there's the other kind of anxiety, the anxiety which is more performance anxiety, you often might call it. This is where you are anxious about a specific event in the future that hasn't happened yet, and every time you think about it, you get anxious. So this might be a test or exam or a presentation or going out on a date, meeting someone, asking someone out on a date, whatever it is. There's an event in the future which, as you think about it now, causes you to feel anxious. Now, that might actually be a good thing and it might not. So the idea about that anxiety is that it lets you know one of two things. Either you just don't have the skill. Either that test you're going to take, the reason you feel anxious is it's your unconscious mind saying, I actually think you need to do a little bit more study, a little bit more revision, a little bit more practice, because in times of stress, we rise to the level of our training and our skill. So that anxiety might be telling you, go practice, go study, go do the work. And that's okay. Go do the work. That's all it is. Use that as a driving force to motivate you. And a lot of people in high performing people and in high performance coaching, that's how we use those so-called negative emotions to drive us forward. So our emotions become our power source. Now, the other thing that anxiety might be telling you is that you don't believe in yourself. Maybe you do have the skills, but you've got some kind of limiting belief or self-sabotaging thought pattern that is preventing you from accessing easily those skills. And that, again, is what CET can help you with. CET will find that limiting belief, release it, clear it, delete it, so you can either learn the skill or, if you have it, access it easily. So that is how CET helps with anxiety.